Back at the Orange Bowl, Bob Costas along with Bob Trumpy, and David Woodley has come out of the locker room and evidently is wearing a flak jacket as protection for that rib cage area. You can see the bulge there around the middle of his uniform. He was belted by a combination of Joe Klecko and Mark Gastineau late in the first quarter and went out very, very slowly after being on the ground for quite a while. Don Strock relieved him brilliantly, but Woodley is back and took a few warm-up throws. Whether or not he'll start this second half remains to be seen. I would guess not.
And there's Richard Todd on the afternoon. 9 of 12, 137 yards. 2 touchdowns. That is a fine, fine performance. You know, there's been just one turnover in his ball game so far today. That's one fumble by the New York Jets, and the Jets have not had a penalty that has been accepted by the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins have had 4, and I'm sure very encouraging sign for Walt Michaels and his crew. Here we go.
The one turnover led directly to a Dolphin touchdown. The ball game even at 14 as we start the final 30 minutes of regulation, and the kick by Uwe von Schaumburg takes a bounce and is fielded by Kurt Sohn, and Sohn is blasted at the 21-yard line by Dwight Stevenson.
Offensive lineman, backup center is Dwight Stevenson out of Alabama. Rather surprising.
Watch the hit again.
This so often really sets the tone for the rest of the half. The team that can come down and get a good hit on this kickoff, well, that's a kiss. He stopped him in his tracks. 1st and 10, the New York Jets at the 22.
So now Richard Todd, who has thrown for 8 touchdowns this year. 3 against Cincinnati, 3 against the Oilers, 2 in the first half here against the Dolphins. Calls the first play from scrimmage in the second half. And completes the pass to Wesley Walker. And Walker, living up to all previous billing about what he is likely to do to the Dolphins, continues to have a good day. It's a first down for the Jets out to the 34-yard line.
They show him great respect. Here's the first half stats. Very even all the way around. 231 to 192. That's not bad. 100 to 62 rushing. That's not bad. Very even football game. That's why the high score, 14-14. The big turnover by the Jets. That fumbled punt return, which I don't believe you can really point the finger at any one player, but we start fresh.
And the Jets also failed to get in when they were down inside the 5-yard line of Miami, and also blew the field goal attempt. Came away with nothing on that drive. Freeman McNeil carries and slithers through a very tiny opening for a gain of about 6 yards out to the 40.
You know, it's hard to believe. Freeman McNeil carried the ball just 5 times in the first half and averaged 7.2 yards a carry. Why did he only carry the ball 5 times?
And he was averaging 5.2 carry with 207 total yards through 4 games coming in for this afternoon's game against the Dolphins. A look again at the Jet offensive line. We should mention that last week Randy Rasmussen played in his 196th game as a Jet, breaking the club record that department previously held by Winston Hill. Freeman McNeil got nothing like his 7-yard average on that carry.
Yeah, but he exhibited a great deal of strength on that play. He was stopped at the line of scrimmage by Vern Denherter and still was able to pick up 2 yards. So now it's 3rd down and 1. I say once again, he's now carried the ball 7 times, and I would wear that kid out.
As we look at the linebackers, something to watch in the second half is watch how often Dewey moves up on stunts, fakes blitzes, drops back, moves into the openings along the offensive line and tries to create confusion among the Jet blockers.
Nothing.
Kevin Long on 3rd and 2 is stopped. And the man we were talking about, A.J. Dewey, number 77, made the initial hit.
A guy who moves around like A.J. Dewey, too, really causes problems. I think Baumhauer's in there also. They stack it up and stack it up good. But Dewey, when he moves around, you can't account for him on every play. You got the offensive linemen who are looking for number 77 to see where he's going to rush the next time. Anyway, 4th down and a little bit.
Last time Chuck Ramsey booted, it went for 55 yards. Fulton Walker, the rookie from West Virginia, standing at the 15-yard line of Miami. 12:38 and counting remaining in this 3rd quarter, tied at 14.
Oh, beautiful.
A spiral that drives Walker all the way back to the 5-yard line, and he will get out only to the 15. A 53-yard kick by Chuck Ramsey, who is now averaging better than 51 yards a kick on. So it's Dolphin ball for the first time in the second half with 12:25 remaining in the 3rd, and we'll come back after this.
Okay, units, travel plans. I need to be in New York on Monday, LA on Tuesday, New York on Wednesday, LA on Thursday, New York on Friday. Got it? Got it. So you want to work here? What really makes you think you deserve a job?
Well, sir, I think I like it. I'm good at figures and have a sharp mind.
Excellent. Can you start on Monday?
Yes, sir, absolutely, without hesitation.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And in conclusion, Jim, Bill, Bob, Call, Fred, Load, Dog, Abe, and Ted. Business is business, and as we all know, in order to get something done, you got to do something. In order to do something, we got to get to work. So let's get to work. Thank you for taking me. Petey, you did a bang-up job. I'm putting you in charge of Pittsburgh. I know it's perfect, Peter. That's why I picked Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's perfect. Peter, may I call you Pete?
Call me Pete.
Pete.
There's a Mr. Schnittler here to see you.
Home to wait 15 seconds.
Can you wait 15 seconds?
I'll wait 15 seconds.
Congratulations on your deal in Denver, Dave. I'm putting you down to deal with Dallas. Don, is it a deal? Do we have a deal? It's a deal. I got to go. I got a call coming in. Hi, Doc. Just dealt with Don.
In this fast-moving, high-pressure, get-it-done-yesterday world, aren't you glad there's one company that can keep up with it all?
You got a deal. Good. I'm putting you down to deal with Dick. Dick, what's the deal with the deal? Are we dealing? We're dealing. Dave, it's a deal with Don, Doc, and Dick. Doc, it's a deal with Dave, Dick, and Dave. Don, it's a doc with Dick, Dave, and Doug. Gotta go, Dave. Disconnecting. Gotta go, Dick. Gotta go, Dan. Disconnecting.
Federal Express. But it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight.
How about that? Don't miss all the explosive action of the National League Divisional Playoffs starting Tuesday night on the home of great baseball, NBC Sports.
As the Dolphins take control for the first time in the second half, Don Strock is still calling the signals. Nat Moore, who caught a touchdown pass in the first half, is wide to the left. Duriel Harris is wide to the right. Franklin, the lone running back, gets the call. And 2, perhaps 3 very tough yards into the middle of the Jet defense. Looking at those lineups again, and Ronnie Lee has been a forgotten man among possible targets for Woodley and Strock, at least in the first half.
Done an excellent job today against a very vaunted defensive line. I believe they've allowed just 1 sack.
Giesler against Klecko and Laxo against Gastineau.
The defensive brain trust of the Miami Dolphins.
Second down and a long 7. Howell is in, number 36, along with Franklin, and Strock airs one out long. He's got his man. He's there. It's caught on the dead run by Matt Moore.
Amazing.
You couldn't throw it any better. A 57-yard hookup between Strock and Moore. He had about a half step on the defender, and it was timed perfectly.
He's got to be averaging now about 45 yards a catch. Dropped 9 of 13 for 164 yards. Perfect. That's the most difficult pass there is in the game to catch. Running at full tilt, right over your shoulder. Thrown, and it doesn't make any difference what cornerback they put in there. The Miami Dolphins are going to beat him.
I think I was too kind to Jerry Holmes. He was beaten by more than a half a step. He was beaten by a full stride, but still in all, the ball had to be perfectly thrown by Strock.
Moore coming into the game, it cost us 5 passes. He's caught 3 so far today for extraordinary yardage.
The Dolphins now threaten to take the lead for the first time. 11:36 to play in the third. Strock gets rid of it, and the Jets perhaps hope for an intentional grounding flag, but they receive no such luck.
Weak safety blitz. As a matter of fact, that's one of the features of the Jet defense. I believe that's his 3rd sack of the season for Darrell Ray.
Well, Darrell Ray and Ken Troy each got sacks on safety blitzes last week against the Oilers.
Well timed.
In truth, he gets no sack because Strock got rid of the ball. Statistically, he doesn't. Performance-wise, he did the job. Johnny Lynn has come in as the nickelback, wearing number 29 now, as the Jets expect to pass.
Whoa!
Broken play. Strock will have to keep it, and a loss of 1.
That'll make Don Shula very upset. A totally broken play. You can see he's very upset. Joe Klecko was on the pursuit there out of the defensive end, number 73. Watch this. Look at the speed this guy has at 275 pounds. Boy, he is a good block by Vicarito to get him off the quarterback's back.
Last week against the Oilers, Klecko picked Leon Gray up and threw him into Ken Staples.
He has done that to more than just Leon Gray. He's a Hulk.
3rd and 11. If they don't pick up the first down here, it would be a very long field goal attempt for Von Schaumann. Tied at 14. Strock unloads. The ball is knocked down and nearly intercepted. Greg Buttle blocked it away.
Boy, that was close. I don't think Strock ever saw it. Now 9 of 14, 163 yards. And that was very, very close to being an outstanding play. Another one of those great linebackers out of Penn State. Watch him get his hand up. And he's the only linebacker in there. That's exactly his job. And 99. Mark Asno against Laxo. Look at that. He's pushing and shoving. Great strength.
Now Uwe von Schaben for a 48-yard attempt. A 43-yarder in the first half, glanced off the left upright. He is 7 of 11 for the season. All 4 of his misses between 40 and 49. This one has plenty of distance, but not enough accuracy.
He is now 1 of 6 from 40 to 49 yards.
That one a 48-yard attempt. He comes up empty. We're still tied at 14. 11 minutes and 15 seconds to play. Third quarter. Jets will have the ball.
New Backwoods Smokes just hit town. Looking wild, but tasting mild.
New Backwoods Smokes. How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild? New Backwoods Smokes. How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild?
New Backwoods Smokes. All natural tobacco, hand-rolled look in a keep 'em fresh pocket pouch.
How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild?
The new generation of Dodge Rams made an ex-Ford owner out of me, and now Dodge has come up with this new Ram Miser. Beautiful inside and out. And Ram Miser gives Dodge the biggest increase in gasoline mileage of all full-size pickups. Take it from an ex-Ford owner. Nobody gives you so much for so little. Hard to believe it's America's lowest priced pickup. Equipped, not stripped.
Dodge trucks are Ram top.
This is Byron Day in New York and cross country in Los Angeles. The Cleveland Browns are on the board. Brian Sipe handing off to Mike Pruitt. He goes over from a yard out. Los Angeles still ahead 14-10 now in the third quarter. Let's go back to Bob Costas and Bob Trumpet.
2 of the defensive linemen of the New York Jets are Abdul Salam, 74. Next to him, Marty Lyons, 93. They appear to be suffering from the effects of this humidity and heat down here in Miami. And this fourth quarter has got to be a real tough quarter to play down here when you are not used to this kind of humidity, although it is cooling off.
It is cooling off. The sun has gone in. There's a breeze now. And actually a threat of rain appears to exist at the Orange Bowl. Although that last long connection in Nat Moore did not lead to a Dolphins score. Strock has completed 9 passes for 163 yards. Moore has caught 4 for 131. For Moore, an average of 33 yards a catch today. Right through the hands of Bruce Harper. And incomplete on first down.
They had one more thought to what you just said, Bob. Nat Moore needs 33 yards to have 5,000 yards in receptions for his career, which is rather impressive.
At Los Angeles, Mike Pruitt has scored on a 1-yard run midway through the third quarter. And Cleveland is now to within 4 of the Rams. It's 14-10 Los Angeles. 11 minutes and 10 seconds to play third quarter. Jets 14, Dolphins 14. They give it to McNeil on the draw, and McNeil tries to skip outside and battles for 3 yards, and that's all. 3rd and 7 is upcoming. We'll be back with that play in a moment, but first let's check with Byron Day at NFL 81 in New York.
Okay, Bob, thanks very much. Denver doing a number on Oakland. Watch this. Rick Parris from 20 yards out rams it in. Denver now on top 17-0 in the third quarter. Robert?
Thanks, Byron. Bob Costas and Bob Trumpy. Orange Bowl in Miami. 10.5 minutes to play third quarter. The Jets, who have beaten the Dolphins 6 consecutive times, coming in here with a record of 1-3. The Dolphins at 4-0. Another 4-0 club picked the dust today. St. Louis upset Dallas. Harper is sprung loose. Bruce Harper taking the pass over the middle. A flag is down, and let's see what the call's going to be. He gets into Dolphin territory at the 40-yard line. A 30-yard gain, but will it count?
I think he's got the offense offside. Illegal procedure. First penalty of the day that the Miami Dolphins will for sure take. And boy, that's happened an awful lot to the Jets so far. This is just 4 underneath coverage by the Dolphins. And you've got a very, very quick running back on Kozlowski, 40 of the Dolphins. And it's all for nothing.
The referee, Dick Jorgensen, having a bit of trouble today with his microphone. Sometimes we can pick him up, sometimes we can't. 3rd and 12 is upcoming with 10:15 on the clock.
Boy, that one hurt. That one hurt.
There's Lamb Jones shifting out into a slot on the left side. They have 2 wide receivers in. Over the middle and intercepted. Picked off by Glenn Blackwood, his 4th interception of the season, and Blackwood streaks down the sideline deep into Jet territory inside the 15-yard line. Richard Todd saved by getting in on the tackle. Blackwood, with his 4th interception of the year, he returns it 37 yards.
Blackwood, free safety, the Miami Dolphins just playing center field. That's all he's doing. You see man-on-man coverage underneath. That's his job. Stand there, read the eyes of the quarterback, and go where he looks. Good blocking by the Miami Dolphins to help him out. Tackled by Todd. And here you see it up close and Poisno. It's still going to be an interception. Returned 37 yards by Glenn Blackwood. As Bob told you, the 4th of the season for Blackwood for the Miami Dolphins. And this is very characteristic of the Miami Dolphins 6 or 8 years ago. The defense turns the ball over, gives the offense the ball in great field position. They got 1st and 14 for TD.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
The people in St. Louis know their beer, but as a master brewer...
Schlitz, sir.
Thank you. I know one taste of my Schlitz can change a lot of minds. And now more people know.
I like Schlitz better than Bud.
I'm a Miller drinker, but you have to taste Schlitz to believe it.
Mr. Sillinger, your Schlitz tastes good. It's a good tasting beer.
Here's to it.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Touch. Now Canon gives it a new meaning with the One Touch, the Canon NP120 copy. There isn't even a power switch. Just touch and copying begins instantly. You get 12 copies a minute on plain paper without wasted time or energy. The low-cost Canon NP120, the One Touch. Turning it off is even simpler. No touch. Call toll-free for information or contact your Canon dealer.
Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. That was the 5th time that Richard Todd has been intercepted this year. The first time today. 10 minutes and 2 seconds to play 3rd quarter. They spot the ball just shy of the 12-yard line of the Jets after the 37-yard return by Glenn Blackwood. Drop to the sideline. The catch made by Matt Moore, who has scored 1 touchdown already.
I have a feeling that Miami Dolphins don't have a great deal of confidence in the tackling ability of the New York Jets defensive back there. Now 142 yards or more once he's loose against Donald Wright. And all of this would not have happened had it not been for one simple illegal procedure penalty on the New York Jets. That's how the game turned around.
It's the game of a long game. The Harper was going to set the Jets up for the first down in Dolphins territory. Now he's left to the off to the goal ahead CD. Rock gives it to Franklin. Franklin comes back. Lance Snell hit him right away on the 56. Franklin was there 54. This is what a game was lost. Control the line of scrimmage. Get a little throw in that defensive line. You can get in there. But great hit by Mel by Lincoln 54, 56. No gain on the play. Now 2nd down in a little bit. I don't know how you can blame Walt Michaels for what happened on that particular play. They turned this around for the New York for the Miami Dolphins. They get the Franklin again. This time he tumbles. Hold the case again. Touchdown. One official says touchdown. And that's what it's going to be. Bobby Jackson of the Jets can't believe it.
They're going to talk about a touchdown. Miami Dolphins.
Let's watch it from the end zone and you decide.
Now you'll see Audra Franklin do a half gainer into the end zone. Good job by the defensive line. 56 up underneath. The ball, well, I don't know. I don't know. That may be twice that they've given him a touchdown. Watch Lance Mel. 56, Roy on the hit. I'm
They
not
say
sure
he
he
broke the plane with the ball, Trump, but I don't know.
I'd like to see that again.
Von Salmon has the extra point. For Franklin, it was his second touchdown of the day and his sixth touchdown of the season.
Interesting that the touchdown was called by the official who was clearly 15 to 16 yards away from the point of the action, but nevertheless it does count. 21-14, Dolphins over the Jets.
We're Exxon. We're Bob Vesper, who helped find oil 40 miles off the Louisiana coast. We're Jerome Degree, who's producing the oil from that find. We're Tom Witt, who helps move the oil ashore. We're Jan Warman, who refines it into gasoline. We're Bob Danaher, who sees that the gasoline gets to you. We're more than 100,000 people working on energy. We're Exxon.
Just imagine flying to Europe free. Just for flying TWA in the U.S. It's TWA's frequent flight bonus. Fly just 60,000 miles during the next 15 months and get 2 tickets to Europe free. Other bonuses start at just 10,000 miles. TWA, the only airline that offers 2 free tickets to Europe.
You're gonna like us, TWA.
This is Byron Day in New York. Out in San Diego, Dan Fouts has just hooked up with Charlie Joyner for a 12-yard scoring pass. This is his 11th touchdown pass of the year. 17-7. San Diego leads it in the third.
Well, Bob Trumpy is still not convinced that Andre Franklin legitimately broke the plane of the goal line, and if we get a chance, we'll show you that play once more. Our producer, Roy Hammerman, thinks that he was in there. Trump is not so sure, and neither am I. Kurt Sohn fields the Von Schaman kick. A lane opens up for him, and he is brought down at the 40, and a flag goes down with him. Elmer Bailey made an important tackle. And now an altercation along the sidelines, which draws yet another flag, a 37-yard kick return by Sohn.
We have offsetting penalties here. We're going to have a push in the back by the New York Jets. And depending on start the fight out here. I got to tell you, I think the Miami Dolphins are credited with the touchdown, when I don't believe they had any right to be credited with the touchdown. She was not very happy. The touchdown by Andre Franklin in the first quarter, I think he fumbled the ball. Not sure it was John Potter. Holding Jets. Personal foul, Miami. Offsetting penalty. And then a personal foul. Wait a minute. How is it? They got offsetting penalties. They got holding on the Jets. Offsetting penalties, personal fouls on the Jets and Miami. Why did they give the ball there?
Perhaps they were offsetting penalties while the play was in progress, and then after the whistle, there was a fight that broke out, a little pushing and shoving along the sideline, and that might be the additional penalty.
Okay, but then they're discounting the holding on the Jets. They have to account for that penalty, and they haven't yet. They've got one outstanding penalty to take care of.
Well, a summit conference here to try and sort it all out.
Yeah. He's saying, I got holding on the Jets. I got offsetting penalties, personal foul on both teams, New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins. Now, they've got to account for the Jets holding.
We've got 8:19 to play, third quarter. Miami leads it by a score of 21-14. And Don Shula is not happy despite that score.
He was very mad at Potter because he struck back. He shouldn't have struck back. Let's hear it. I hope his mic works this time. Oh, they're looking for more room now.
Well, Dick Jorgensen is holding a clinic right now in NFL rules for his cohorts. Flight arrangements perhaps being discussed as they try and get out of Miami quickly after this one is over.
Yeah, especially if they leave the call as it sits right now. And if they give the New York Jets the ball right there, Mr. Shula is going to be right out there amongst those striped shirts saying, gentlemen, you've made a mistake somehow. But, you know, I do admire the officials for not making a hasty decision and kind of getting a quorum there and trying to discuss the thing out. That is to their credit.
Okay, now let's watch what happens at the end of the play. Kurt Sohn will return this 37 yards. Sohn is from that noted football factory of Fordham. And evidently we lost the replay.
All right, let's hear it.
There.
Holding on the run back. After the ball was dead on both sides. Now they got to count 15 yards from where the ball is. There you go. There you go. Okay. Yeah. They should go back there and now count 15 yards for the penalty.
Since the personal foul's offset, only the holding remains to be accounted for, and that's what they're doing now.
Now, wait a minute. They're not accounting for the penalty. Why do they put it there? Why did they arbitrarily choose that spot at the 25.5-yard line?
Well, he had run it out just across the 40.
So they took the 15 yards from there. Okay, I'll buy that. Now they're set. Okay. Back to football.
8:19 on the clock. And a good look at Richard Todd, who coming into today's game had completed 58% of his passes. He's had an excellent statistical day thus far. Freeman McNeil following his blockers and getting maybe 4 on the play. Now let's watch the Franklin touchdown, which was also the source of some controversy.
And we're going to argue about this all day. I do not believe Andre Franklin is in the end zone. He gets hit in the head, and he begins to turn, and he almost turns in midair on a great hit by Ken Schroy. Watch this. If you're a Jet fan, of course you're going to say he wasn't in the end zone. There he's hit. That's as far as he goes forward right there. I do not believe he was in the end zone.
You know, his feet come down to the end zone, but at that point he's got the ball tucked against his chest, which is clearly on the other side. So the question is, while he was up in the air during the initial hit, had he broken the plane? Here's Freeman McNeil busting through the line of scrimmage. And out across the 40 for a Jet first down. Gerald Small there to grab him, along with Don Veselu, number 46.
Nevertheless, it was 6 points, which turned into 7, and the Dolphins now lead 21-14. And the Jets have had good success throwing the ball down the field against the Dolphins all day long. I would be a bit surprised to see some motion, try to free one of those very, very quick receivers. Once again, they got Gaffney in the backfield, 3 wide receivers now. No, that's Freeman McNeil at the top of your screen, 24.
Augustiniak carries. Mike Augustiniak, a couple of yards, maybe a bit less than that. You know, I'm reminded, Trump, that the last time the Jets and Dolphins met late December of 1980. Here's the Orange Bowl. That was NBC's famous silent bowl, without any announcers. So we asked those of you at home to commemorate that occasion with a moment of noise.
What do we got here? Augustiniak, I think, is out on his feet. Or he is out at least.
Then Herder has some trouble untangling himself. Then Herder's okay. Augustiniak is not.
Then Herder was underneath. It looks like an ankle.
Left ankle is what they're working on.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is no time. This is right behind Mr. Ward, number 72. Good job. And Augustiniak somehow sprained his ankle. This is really no time to become conservative, gentlemen.
Well, reminder that next Saturday, NBC Sports World returns to the fall season. October's going to be a quick month on Sports World, featuring the exciting Las Vegas Grand Prix, some good boxing action, and tune into NBC next Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for the debut of the fall season of Sports World.
He's being helped off the field, Augustiniak is. It looks like a serious injury to the left ankle. Hopefully it's not, but he was...
Augie has been doing a heck of a job for the Jets, but if there is any area where they are deep, it's at running back.
They've got thousands of them, it seems like. And last year, of course, in the final game of the season, Walt Michaels had to go to Bruce Harper as his running back played the entire game. He said he'd never be put in that spot again. That's why they have 7 running backs. Well, now Augie is hurt, and Harper is in there.
Clock moving with 6:35 to play third quarter. Jets down by a touchdown. On 2nd and 7, Todd flings one out, and this one is intercepted. Picked off by Brzezinski. Brzezinski dodges his way past Harper, stays on his feet, and is into Jet territory. The second time that Todd has been intercepted in the third quarter. A 12-yard return after the interception by Brzezinski, and there's a flag down in the area of where Todd released the pass, so it very well could be against the Jets, a holding against New York, which of course the Dolphins would decline.
Bob, that will go in the books as a pass interception, and it'll go against Richard Todd, but that is totally on Bruce Harper. That interception, oh, it's going to be against Miami. Roughing the passer. And I'll tell you, if we have this personal foul, roughing the passer.
We'll sort it out when we come back. Let's go to Byron Day in New York.
Thanks, Bob. Out in Oakland, the Raiders are playing not like world champions. Watch this. Bob Swinson picks off a Mark Wilson pass. That's the 5th Raider turnover of the day. It's 17-0 in the 4th quarter. Bob?
Now, to once again recount this interception, Bruce Harper, the first rule of any receiver is never go behind a defensive man. And that's exactly what he did. He should have broken under. He should have broken underneath Brzezinski. That is totally on Bruce Harper, but they dodged a bullet because of the penalty.
Well, the flag was thrown in the Jet backfield, but instead of holding, as I suspected, roughing the passer, which negates the interception, gives the Jets a first down in Dolphin territory, and then, after nearly bungling the snap, Todd just falls to the turf for a loss of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 12. 6:21 left, 3rd quarter. Dolphins 21, and the Jets 14. Upset them today in St. Louis, 20-17. Freeman McNeil.
Look at that.
There wasn't much room, but he made the very most of it and nearly gets the 12 yards they needed for the first down. He appears to be just a bit short.
He is an outstanding running back. Combines good balance, 11 carries now, 70 yards, great balance, and he's got that burst of speed that great running backs have, like Earl Kimball. Watch this. He scoots along the line, all of a sudden, bam, sees a crack. Now that first step gets him upfield. Look at that. He covered about 6 yards in 2 steps. Boy, he is exceptional. I repeat, if I'm the coach of the New York Jets, I'm going to wear that kid out.
Kevin Long is now in the backfield along with McNeil. It's 3rd down and 1. They give it to Long. There's a flag down on the play. Long might have the first down, but let's wait and see what the penalty is.
It was a late flag, too, Bob.
Belying his name of Kevin Long. Usually Kevin gets into the game only in short yardage situations.
Offsides, Miami. They'll take the penalty. At the line of scrimmage, see if you can see who breaks the neutral zone.
Bob Baumhauer, number 73, I think.
Well, I didn't see the snap yet, so it's still legal if he makes no contact.
Just to bring you up to date, in case you were just joining us, as you were able to determine just a moment ago, Dick Jorgensen, the referee, has his microphone out, so we're doing the best we can interpreting the penalties for you. David Woodley is also out. He was wrapped in the rib cage as he was sandwiched by Klecko and Gastineau in the first half and hasn't returned, but Don Strock has quarterbacked the Dolphins into the lead. Freeman McNeil to the 20-yard line.
He was down. He was down.
Glenn Blackwood thinks he stole the ball away, but they won't go for that act.
And McNeil now looks like he's hurt. That's 78 yards for McNeil on 12 carries so far today.
Slow in getting up. No one's come to his aid yet. And now Richard Todd inquires about his health.
Once again, it looks like the ankle. You see the way he set up that block? 64 was... not 64, I believe it was either Rasmussen or Fields leading the play. Great, he set the block up just perfectly.
So with Freeman McNeil shaken up and a timeout taken on the field with 4:48 to play in the 3rd quarter, we'll take this commercial break.
It's time to bring some sanity and reason to new car prices. For 1982, Chrysler Corporation is offering some of its most popular front-wheel drive, high-mileage cars at 1981 prices. For 82, Chrysler introduces the lowest-priced 6-passenger front-wheel drive cars, America's lowest-priced 5-passenger front-wheel drive cars, and the lowest-priced full-size pickup. For 82 cars at 81 prices, come to Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth.
Victoria, darling, my heart.
Stop, camera. Wash the suit.
Wash the suit?
It's the Hager washable suit in Visa fabrics, made a new way to be machine washed and dried.
And action.
Victoria, my...
Cut. I don't believe
The
it.
Hager washable suit is guaranteed to keep its great looks and fit for its normal life or your money back. The Hager washable suit. Guaranteed wash after wash after wash.
Out in Anaheim, this is Byron Day in New York, but out in Anaheim, the Rams have just moved ahead of the Cleveland Browns on a 5-yard run by Matt Gooman. LA 21, Cleveland 10 in the fourth. Let's go back to Bob Costas and Bob Trumpy.
Well, you never know about the Rams. As Byron Day updates us, now they're up by 11. I don't know what to make of that ball club. They look very good against the Bears on Monday night, but how much of that was the Bears and how much was the Rams is tough to determine. All right, with 4:37 to play in the third quarter, it's 2nd down and 4. And it's going to be 3rd down and just about the same amount upcoming.
Jets are 1 of 6 third down conversions so far today. The Dolphins 3 of 7. This is very, very important. This has been a good drive by the Dolphins, too. Aided very much by that roughing the passer penalty.
Let's give him 1 on the play, bringing up 3rd down and 3. As you look into the Dolphins' defensive huddle.
I got to believe this is a 2-down area.
They trail by 7. By the time this is snapped, we'll be inside 4 minutes to play in the third quarter. Screen said 3rd and 2. It's actually 3rd and 3, and I don't think they have it.
If they don't, as I said, the New York Jets are 1 of 3. This is a 2-down area. You go for it on 4th down. There's Freeman McNeil on the sideline. Looks like they took his shoe off and retaped his ankle, maybe.
Well, it's close enough, evidently, to take a look at with the yardsticks.
Now, one of the wars out there on the field today that we really haven't paid a lot of attention to, it probably should have, was Joe Fields on Bob Baumhauer. Center of the New York Jets field, nose man number 73 of the Miami Dolphins at nose. It'll be 4th down.
Well, they are just short. And while the Jets think about a 4th down play, we'll check in with Byron Day again in New York.
Bob, thank you very much. Seattle has just forced a turnover in their game with San Diego. Watch this. Bounce is hit. Mike White recovers a fumble. Seattle's in business on the San Diego 5-yard line. 17-7 in the third quarter.
Thanks, Byron. We've still got 3:51 to play, third period here at the Orange Bowl. Tim Bokamper is checked into the lineup, number 58, to strengthen that front wall. Everybody is tight. Less than a yard needed on 4th down. Todd keeps it. Quarterback fumble. Football. It looks like the Dolphins have it. They do. Todd tried to sneak for the first down, fumbled it, and I think it was Don Besselou who recovered. There he is, number 46. Besselou with the recovery.
Now, I tell you what, Walt Michaels has taken an awful lot of heat for his football team being 1 of 3, but what can you possibly blame Walt Michaels for in that situation? He was just too quick. I don't believe he ever got the ball up. He never got the ball up in his breadbasket. Baumhauer 73 in there. And you are right. 46 Besselou on the recovery. My goodness.
So the Jet drive is stymied by another turnover. That is the 3rd Jet turnover of the game, and another one, which might have been their 4th, was negated because of a roughing the passer call, which brought back an interception by Bob Brzezinski. They have fumbled a punt. Now Todd has fumbled, and Todd has been officially intercepted once. Franklin carries on 1st down as we move inside 3.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. The Dolphins 21 and the Jets 14. Neither club has led by more than a touchdown at any time in the game. Crowd of better than 70,000 at the Orange Bowl. As you can see, the Dolphins have not made any possible mistakes. There's a penalty down, and the ball is dropped incomplete as Strock threw on the run. Harris was the target, Duriel Harris. Mark Gastineau was closing ground on Strock quickly and nearly sacked him.
Now, I'll tell you what, Bob, this is where inexperience on a team shows. There was no reason for the New York Jets to panic. They were offsides in that situation, so they fumbled the ball. You're right. But offsides, number 99, Mark Gastineau. You'll see, yes, he jumped. But there's no reason for them to panic. And I get the feeling that the New York Jets, because of their youthful exuberance, in these situations, they haven't faced it enough together as a team, and now they begin to panic. If they play good, solid defense right here, turn the ball back over, the Jets' offense has gained a lot of yards today.
They give the ball to Franklin. And Franklin on 2nd and 3 does not get first down yardage. 3rd down upcoming, 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Marty Lyons and Ken Schroy combining on the tackle for the Jets.
Matt Moore into the ball game, Steve Howell into the ball game, Ronnie Lee into the ball game for the Miami Dolphins.
They have really worked Franklin out this afternoon, and he has not broken anything resembling a long run. It's been strictly short gains every time. 14 carries for 31 yards. That's what we've got him down for. Vigorito has carried 4 times for 11 yards. 3rd and a long one upcoming. Steve Howell.
No. I don't think he got it.
Backed up and stopped. Joe Klecko made the initial contact.
All right, they did it. And they turn the ball back over to the offense. Only down by 7 points with a quarter plus 1 minute and 50 seconds to play. No reason to panic. But as I said, experience is a great teacher in situations like that. Excuse me, 3rd quarter. Did I say 4th quarter? I meant 40 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Tom Orris now will punt. He's been consistent, if nothing else, averaging 37 and nothing longer than 38. Sohn and Harper are the deep men, each standing at the 25 of the Jets. High snap, but no pressure on Orris. Harper will field it. Harper. To the 34-yard line. Colton Walker, look, he got down there. A 46-yard pick. That's not Orris. There's Walker who made the tackle.
Now once again, pressure on the Miami defense. Yeah, the Jets have turned somewhat conservative in this 3rd quarter.
Let's get another update from New York. Check in with NFL 81.
Okay, Bob, this is Byron Day in New York. Remember the fumble recovery in the Seattle Bradley couldn't cash it in. San Diego stopped him on the 1-foot line. Still 70-7.
Okay, back here in Miami, Bob passes along the block. This back to Terry on 1st down to Glenn Blackwood. Takes the back. 2nd and 5 upcoming. You got to figure good Seahawks. You got to break like that against a team like the Chargers. If you don't cash in from inside the 1, you're not going to wind up on top.
Seattle is a luckless team. If it weren't for bad luck, they'd have no luck at all.
We're in the last minute of the 3rd quarter. The Jets at one time led 14-7 and were inside the Dolphin 5 with a chance to make it 21-7. Instead, they now trail 21-14. Tom Newton. And Newton is close to the 1st down. Within a yard of it. Let's see where they'll spot it. It'll be 3rd and short upcoming for Richard Todd and the Jets. An official's timeout taken with 25 seconds remaining. Let's see if they'll bring the yardsticks in. I don't think there's any need for it.
Here's one for you. The New York Jets threw the ball 12 times in the 1st half, completed 9 of them. You know how many times they've thrown it in the 2nd half?
I'll bite. How many?
3.
3? 3. One of those has been intercepted, and another one was intercepted and called back.
And they were just moving the ball almost at will in the 1st half throwing the football.
They may be able to get off one snap here before the quarter ends. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. They do get the snap off. They give the ball to Kevin Long, who bounces off the tackler, gets outside, has the 1st down as the 3rd quarter ends, and Gerald Small deposits him out of bounds. A 12-yard pickup for Long, and at the end of the 3rd quarter, the score is the Miami Dolphins 21, the New York Jets 14. Back after these messages from your local station.
Monday.
Sunday, there's some new faces and sad farewells on the season premiere of Little House. Then it's a delightful comedy about a bachelor who suddenly has a family. Tony Randall and Private Benjamin's Lorna Patterson star in the love story of the season. Sydney Shore, a world premiere movie, right after the season premiere of Little House, Monday on NBC.
John Houseman for the investment firm of Smith Barney.
Buy low, sell high. Every investor's goal. But the astutely managed portfolio strikes a balance of the right investments. It should anticipate any eventuality. Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
The secret to gasoline is not to buy the most octane, but the right octane.
Jerry Burke talks about gasoline.
With 3 grades, I can satisfy just about any car. But octane isn't the only way you judge gasoline. Dependable gasoline has to start quick and keep your carburetor clean. Those are qualities Exxon puts in all 3 of their gasolines. So whatever grade you buy, it's good.
Exxon has thousands of independent dealers who offer a choice of quality products and services. Jerry Burke is one of them.
Dear Abby and Steve Rubel, Monday, live at 5.
What started out as a hot and sticky afternoon and then a threat of rain mixed in becomes a beautiful early evening in Miami.
Ooh, Augustinia. Ice on the left ankle.
Not able to enjoy the scenery in his present position.
That looks bad.
The word on McNeil, I believe, a bruised foot as he goes to the sideline. Whether or not he'll return in the fourth quarter, we don't know. On first down, they swing it out to Bruce Harper. And Harper dances, keeps his feet, and turns it into a big gain or a jet first down inside the 35 of Miami.
Richard Todd now 11 of 16 for 157 yards. And this guy's nickname is the Smidget, is Bruce Harper. All-purpose back. For his size, he really has great strength in his legs. He's just 5'8" and 177 pounds. He's a small target, but look at the extra effort. The will to win. First and 10, the New York Jets. Showing a great deal of maturity here. Not being overly impatient, just taking their time.
Long and Harper are the backs. That's Lamb Jones, number 80, setting up on the left side. From the 33 of the Dolphins, Todd drops back on first down. Completes it to Long, who sidesteps Dewey and gets down to the 25. They'll be just shy of the first down. It'll be second and a short 2 upcoming.
All right, now I tell you, Bob, I do believe the Miami Dolphins, as you watch this play, a roll left, a little delay by Long out of the backfield 33. Todd is rolling away from the pass rush. And a good move to get around A.J. Dewey, tackled by Brzezinski. And I have a feeling right now the Dolphins need a blitz to kind of break up the rhythm of the Jets right here. They're not getting much pressure on Richard Todd. They got to do something out of the ordinary right here.
13 and a half left. The Jets are down by a touchdown. They pitch it to Harper. Harper needs 2 yards. Harper has those 2 yards.
Amazing. See him go to the ground and bounce right back up without taking about a split second. Terrific back that kid is.
Tampa Bay now with the lead over Detroit, 14-10 in the third quarter. Can you figure the Buccaneers? I can't decide if they're a bad ball club or a fairly good team about to become better.
I think that applies to most teams in the NFC Central.
Harper got the first down. There are Todd's numbers. Almost all that yardage accumulated during the first half. Harper, they don't buy his act this time. Doug Better's waxing.
The Jets are now in the situation that Walt Michaels wanted to avoid, and that is having to rely on Bruce Harper down after down after down. You'll see the backside of the play catch up with Bruce Harper. 42 Baumhauer, 73 is in there, makes him change his direction, and Betters smothers him, I think is the best way to put it.
As we mentioned earlier, this whole series, dating back to 1966, has been one of streaks. The Jets beat the Dolphins when Miami first came into the league 8 straight times. Then Miami won 14 of the next 16. Now the Jets have won 6 in a row. They lead the series overall 16-14. Todd has Harper. It's going to be first and goal for the Jets.
Totally uncovered. There was obviously a coverage breakdown there, miscommunication or something. Nobody even close. You'll watch Harper. Now, I think the primary receiver here is Jerome Barkham, 83. He's the tight end, runs the corner route, in which they scored a touchdown. But look at it. 7 yards between Bruce Harper and the defender. 48.
Gerald Small, who makes the tackle, with some help from Ernest Roan, 55. Bruce Harper has been a workhorse on this drive. 11:20 remaining. The Jets are 7 yards and a point after from the possible tying touchdown as Tom Newton carries, and a flag flies behind it.
In the area of possibly offensive holding.
You got it.
Oh, my goodness.
While they walk off the penalty, let's get another update from NFL 81 in New York.
Okay, Bob, out in Anaheim, the Rams have increased their lead over the Cleveland Browns. Frank Corral, a 38-yard field goal. Rams now lead at 24-10 in the fourth quarter. Let's go back to Bob Costas and Bob Trumpy.
Thank you, Byron. Georgia will be much happier with Ray and Pat and the boys this week. Miami leads it by 7, and their chance of maintaining that edge has just been greatly increased, as the Jets have pushed back to the 17, where it is first and goal. Oh. Tom Newton caught it and paid for it with A.J. Dewey delivering his calling card.
Dewey was moved from a defensive end to a linebacker just because he couldn't maintain weight. He's not a very good coverage man, but he just is sticking to like glue on Newton, and that's a great tackle. If they've got a screen, I mean the New York Jets, now's the time to run it.
They get a couple, maybe 3 to just across the 15-yard line. Second and goal from there. 10.5 minutes to play in the game. The Dolphins 21, the Jets 14. The Jets have been held scoreless in the second half. They were knotted at 14 at halftime. Todd, quick release, got it up in the air, and then caught by Walker.
I don't believe it.
Wesley Walker's got it for the touchdown.
I do
The
not
Jets are
believe
a
it.
point away from the tie.
That looked like a jump ball out there, Bob. First of all, the ball should not have been thrown, but that's the second touchdown that Richard Todd has accounted for on a ball that should not have been thrown, and Walker caught the other one. Watch this one. This ball looks around as opposed to pointed. It's not supposed to make bounces like this. Pressure up front. Bidders. Now watch. 1, 2, and it's up for a jump ball. Touchdown. 6 points, just the way we draw it up. Thank you very much.
Pat Leahy tries to tie it, and does. Well, Blackwood, who earlier had an interception, touched that one. Ed Taylor touched it, and ultimately it winds up in the hands of Wesley Walker, who now has caught 4, 2 of them for touchdowns. This game is tied at 21 with 10:18 left.
I love it.
I could ride to this music all day.
You and these Energizers just keep on going.
The Energizer is ever ready at its powerful best. Of all leading brands, nothing outlasts the Energizer. Nothing outsnaps it. Nothing outadds, outwalks, outplays, outtapes, outshines, outdoes it. Nothing.
The Energizer even outlasted Big Strong Charlie.
The Energizer, for life.
Long life.
Energize me.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Down here in Texas, people know a good beer. Many choose to taste of my Schlitz. Just one glass will tell a lot of beer drinkers what I've known all along. You just can't buy a better tasting beer than Schlitz.
What do I really think? I think Schlitz tastes better than Miller.
Schlitz tastes really smooth. Mr. Sellinger, your Schlitz tastes good. It really does.
I'm glad you like it.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
On and off the field, he was the only white at an all-black college.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have a good time.
Rambling's White Tiger, a world premiere Sunday on NBC.
Some business to take care of here. This telecast is presented by authority of the NFL, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Miami Dolphins and the NFL is prohibited. Ball goes off the tee, and Leahy will have to try again. Wesley Walker in the last 3 years now against the Dolphins, has caught 26 passes, a half dozen of them for touchdowns.
Not a bad percentage. Todd now 14 of 19, 179 yards, and I believe that's 3 touchdowns on the day.
Fulton Walker retreats midway to the end zone and decides that he will down it for the touchback. Dolphin ball at the 20 with 10-11 left in this tie ball game. Let's get an update from New York and Byron Day.
Okay, Bob, out in San Diego, Seattle once again had first and goal, but had to settle for this 20-yard Efren Herrera field goal. Seattle narrows the lead to 17-10. Chargers still on top in the fourth.
Okay, thanks, Byron. Well, in Pittsburgh last week, Trump, we went to overtime before the Steelers eventually subdued the Patriots. We still got 10-11 left, but overtime's a possibility here as well.
I like games like this, too. Two very good teams, and they're fighting tooth and nail out there to get in the end zone.
The pitch goes to Tommy Vigorito on first down, and Vigorito is only back to the line of scrimmage, bounced by Greg Buttle, number 51. We mentioned Richard Todd's 9 touchdown passes for the season. They've come in groups of 3. He threw for 3 against Cincinnati, for 3 against Houston, and he's got the hat trick here against the Dolphins, too.
And I'll tell you what, 2 of the touchdowns he's thrown today were miraculous catches, and probably when he watches the film, he's going to be chuckling because they should not have been thrown. He threw through more traffic than you can find at 5th Avenue and 52nd Street.
Bruce Harper was a key man on this drive, which consumed almost 6 minutes, and ended with the Todd to Walker touchdown pass, which ties the game at 21.
Blitz New York Jets.
Don Strock is going to lob one out, and it's incomplete. He tried to cross them up by lobbing it out to Harris, but Jackson wasn't fooled, and he was with him step for step. Now it's 3rd and 10. And after allowing the Jets to keep the ball for 6 minutes and go 66 yards, the last thing the Dolphin offense wants to do is give the ball up on 3 quick plays and put that defense right back out on the field.
Excellent point. You are 1,000% correct. They need a first down here just to cool off and give their defense some rest over there on the sideline.
Now let's see if the Jet defense is up to this task on 3rd and 10. Pressure on Strock. They miss him.
Oh, great catch.
It's going to be interesting to see where they spot this. They're short of the first down.
Boy, Strock really zipped that one in there. He didn't have much of a chance. He was pressured. And you'll see him put a little extra on this one.
Joe Rose, the 3rd-string tight end, makes the catch, and he is just shy of the 30, which is where they had to go. It's 4th and less than a yard, and Orris is going to punt.
And you can't fault Don Strock for that throw. In a situation where there's a defensive back running alongside the tight end, you got to throw the ball low so there's no interception. He's just 30 yards from your end zone, so you got to throw the ball low.
Well, the Jet defense, which had yielded 100 points through their first 3 games, all losses, held Houston to 17 a week ago. Miami has nailed them with 21 thus far today. The game tied, and the Jets with a chance to get it back. Wobbly punt by Orris. Going to be good field position. Ken Troy runs up to grab it. A reception committee waiting for him, but just a 31-yard kick by Orris against the wind. So here's the situation. Tied at 21. Jet ball at their 43 with 8:21 remaining, and we're coming right back.
Everywhere I go, people ask me, Arnie, is that old tractor you drove in the Pennzoil commercial still running? Still running? We use it here at Latrobe every day. And with Pennzoil protecting the engine, there are a lot more miles left in it. You know, this old tractor and I are a lot alike. We're both still using Pennzoil, and we're both still running.
Gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile.
In Japan, people demand a lot from a 35mm camera. That's why thousands of Japanese have gone beyond ordinary automatic. Automatic 35 with a Pentax Amy Super. Amy Super is reading 2 cameras. On manual, you use it like a professional camera. For an automatic, it doesn't need to use any 35. Pentax Amy Super. One reason we sold more 35 SLR cameras than any other company in Japan, or in the world. Racing Ball next Sunday on NBC Sports.
Here's Troy number 40 on the catch of the punt, and you have to admire his intentional fortitude. But he takes the place right here as he just about gets on the ground. 52 feet still, the Miami Dolphins lays one away. First and 10 of the New York Jets at their own 44. 8:21 remaining in regulation. Dolphins trying to break the catch. They've offered 6 straight times and also stay undefeated. Miami comes in at 4-0. Harper catches the pass, does advance, and is down at the 45 after a gain of 1. Bob, you know, it's interesting. The Miami Dolphins bring Kim Bokamper in obvious passing situations to get his pass rush. What the New York Jets are doing is they're throwing the ball on the first down because Miami has Vern Denherter in there, and he's not a great pass rusher. So basically, Miami's trying to get to Richard Todd with 2 defensive linemen, and so far it's worked very well today.
Todd, 15 of 20 for 182.
Now Bokamper into the ball game on an obvious passing situation. 2nd and 9. Denver shutting out Oakland.
Second time they have beaten the Raiders this year. 17-zip is the final. That's Bobby Jones in motion. He caught a long one in the first half. They give the ball to Harper. Harper, who suddenly has become a workhorse, pounds out to the 49-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 5 upcoming, but first let's check with Byron Day in New York. Byron?
Bob, in Anaheim, the Rams have moved well out in front of the Cleveland Browns on this 41-yard Frank Corral field goal. It's now 27-10 with 6.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Bob?
Thanks, Byron. As we mentioned, that Denver victory over Oakland, the Broncos are now 4-1. Their only loss was in Seattle to the Seahawks. The Raiders are off to a 2-3 start, but if memory serves me correctly, they were 2-3 after 5 games last year and went on to win it all. 3rd down in the long 4. Todd unloads. He's got his man, Wesley Walker. Oh, man, Don Shula's going to be seeing this guy in nightmares tonight.
I'll tell you what, if I were Don Shula, we got holding the New York Jets. Absolutely amazing. But still, I'll say it. If I were Don Shula, I'd trade a high draft choice for Wesley Walker. He's beaten him single-handedly on 6 straight times. I'd keep that guy in Miami.
Or at least someplace where he couldn't hurt you.
Holding number 7. It's Ward. Rick Ward. I give a high draft just to get out of the league, but I want to fire him for myself. I think that's 5 penalties on the New York Jets twice. They have spoiled. Great reception to the long yardage for their offense. There's the sorry story of all 20 passes in the season, and despite that, they're able to lead. 6:42 remaining. 4th down and 15 yards to go. With 9-21. Todd, scrambling. It's away from 1. Throws on the run. Incomplete. Bobby Jones to Bucket. Now they're like that. Good choice by Todd. He needed 13 yards there. He's not going to run for it. He's trying to set up a pass to see the game up. Almost did. And once again.
Chuck Ramsey now will punt for the 4th time. As you can see, his figures are nothing to be embarrassed about thus far. He was averaging 41.5 prior to today. Fulton Walker is waiting back deep near the 15-yard line of Miami. No pressure at all. Ramsey with the wind at his back, a high spiral, which Walker fields inside the 10-yard line and lunges to about the 20. A flag went down. I don't know if that flag was accidentally dropped or if there is a penalty. A 42-yard punt by Ramsey.
We've got a penalty. Tell you what, I'm watching Dub Better 75 and Bob Babenhauer 73. Illegal use of the hands, Miami. On the sideline on the Miami Dolphins bench, really sucking on the oxygen. They are worn out. The Dolphins need to give that defense a rest now for a while. They've been on the field an awful lot in the second half.
The flag wasn't so much thrown as it was daintily dropped. I thought for a moment it might just have slipped out of somebody's pocket. Throughout the second half, we've had no contact with Dick Jorgensen, the referee. His microphone has been cut off. The ball is pushed back to the 10-yard line. That's where Miami will have it, tied at 21 with 6:25 remaining.
Why is our copier smarter than theirs? Compare the Savin 883 on my left with the Xerox 4000 on my right. You'll find that only one has a microprocessor and an electronic brain that can transform an unclear original into a clear copy. Only one has a fully automatic document feed, and only one has an energy-saving automatic shutoff. On all these points, one copier outsmarts the other. The Savin.
Can an American driving machine outdistance every Datsun on the highway? If we put a gallon of gas in every Datsun and a gallon in the 1982 Dodge Omni Miser, here's what would happen. One by one, every Datsun would run out. But Omni Miser would keep driving, on and on, because Omni Miser has the highest highway mileage of any 5-passenger American car, and the lowest price. And at $54.99, the 82 Dodge Omni Miser doesn't cost $1 more this year than it cost at the end of last year.
This is Byron Day in New York. Out in San Diego, Dan Fouts has just thrown his 12th touchdown of the year to Charlie Joyner, his second reception of the day. San Diego well out ahead, 24-10, 4 minutes left in the fourth. Bob?
Well, the moon has not yet appeared over Miami, but the sun is setting behind the Orange Bowl, where more than 70,000 fans, hoping that the Dolphins can go 5-0, have watched the Jets give them all they could ask for and more. And as we noted early on in this ball game, it makes no difference what kind of year either club is having. The Jets give the Dolphins fits. From inside the 10, Don Strock, who has been here since late in the first quarter with David Woodley hurt, swings it out to Vigorito. Vigorito gets 5 or 6. And is bumped out by Bobby Jackson.
Okay, it now appears that the Dolphins are going to go back to their original game plan. Just chink it here, chink it there. Not try to get it in too big a bunch. They got 6:19 left to go. They've got all 3 timeouts. And Strock is having, as you can see, a marvelous day.
A pensive Don Shula. A tongue lashing. Many of them have been administered along that Dolphin sideline to various offenders today. Second down and 4 coming up. Strock with a short drop in the same play. Vigorito, he's got a first down and tacks additional yardage onto it. The clock stops at 6:12 as he's shoved out.
Some of the people who play for the Miami Dolphins belie their age. Vigorito is a 5th-round draft choice out of Virginia. Not a very much talked about athlete. A decent receiver, a good presence. Strock, of course, a veteran quarterback. That is a big, big first down. The understatement of the quarter so far.
The ball is at the 27 of Miami. We were tied at 14 at halftime. Each team has scored once since intermission. Vigorito for 3 out to the 30. Abdul Salam belts him down.
You know, Bob, to our knowledge, there's nothing wrong with Andre Franklin. And yet he really hasn't carried the ball an awful lot in the second half. Last week, he was their big gun. Carried the ball very, very well for them. He had 20 carries and 76 yards. Now he's a blocking back for Tommy Vigorito.
Well, Franklin has scored twice today.
Blitz situation for the New York Jets.
Jets have Johnny Lynn in as the nickelback. Strock pumps one out long. He's got a man open. A diving catch by Matt Moore. Another miraculous catch.
Tell you what, there are no words to describe that catch. He's caught 4 passes today, and all 4 of them have been when he's thrown. And that now puts him over 5,000 yards. 14 catches. Oh, excuse me. Strock is 14 to 21, 245 yards. Look at that catch. My goodness, I bet Nat Moore has averaged somewhere close to 40 yards a catch. Wow.
Right about there. As a matter of fact, that 5 for 143, I think, is incorrect. He's got more than that now. On first down, they move inside the 25, picking up 3. He's got 190 yards in receptions thus far. We'll come back with a second down play right after we check with New York.
Okay, Bob, excitement there, excitement in Anaheim. Brian Sipe hooking up with Ozzie Newsome, a 38-yard touchdown pass. L.A. now leads the Browns 27-16, 3:37 left to go in the fourth quarter. Bob?
Thanks, Byron.
Ned Moore, 6 catches, 190 yards, and I think that's his all-time best performance.
If it is, and it should be, I can't imagine a better day. Strock pumps once, then goes long for more. There he is, touchdown!
Catches now for Ned Moore, 202 yards, and he came into the ball game, ladies and gentlemen, with just 5 receptions on the day. On the year, no touchdowns. That's his 3rd touchdown catch of the day, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's his 2nd touchdown catch, and Franklin has run for 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Now Von Schaman will try and add the 28th point, and it's there. The Jets have a 7-point deficit and 70,000 roaring fans against them right now. 3 minutes and 59 seconds to go, and we'll come back to the Orange Bowl right after this.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Schlitz is downright good. I think it's even better than Miller. I'm from Germany. I do think I know a bit about beer, and this is really good beer.
Hey, I'm loyal to my bud, but I think Schlitz beat it out.
I like the taste of Schlitz. It's as simple as that.
In 40 years as a master brewer, this Schlitz is my smoothest. Have you tasted my Schlitz?
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
You've read about it, you've heard about it. But until now, you've never had a better chance to own it. It's the RCA Video Disc Player. The remarkable machine that plays records of movies, concerts, and more on your TV. And to help you be one of the first to own one, RCA is offering a $50 introductory bonus. Buy one now and you'll get $50 direct from RCA. What's more, a special 10-day money-back offer is available at selected RCA dealers. But hurry, you may never have a better chance.
Next Saturday, don't miss the exciting return of NBC Sports World, featuring hard-hitting World Championship boxing. Then, 1 week later, the world's finest Grand Prix drivers gather in the heart of Las Vegas for live coverage of the Caesars Palace Grand Prix, starting next Saturday on NBC.
Von Schaman to kick off. The Orange Bowl is jumping with just under 4 minutes remaining. 28-21, the Dolphins lead it. Kurt Sohn is deep along with Bobby Jones, and Sohn takes it at about the 5. Kurt Sohn out across the 20-yard line, and these Dolphin fans are roaring on every play. The official numbers now on Nat Moore: 7 receptions, a Dolphin record 210 yards. No Dolphin has ever gone over 200 yards before on pass receptions. 2 of his catches for scores, and he's averaging 30 yards per reception. Here's the last TD.
And all catches but 1, he's been diving, jumping, acrobatic, and they have just absolutely beat up the 2 cornerbacks of the New York Jets, Donald Dykes, Bobby Jackson, and the guy that replaced him, Jerry Holmes.
Well, right now, Don Struck is the Dolphin pitcher of record. He stands to get the victory in relief. Harper in motion out of the backfield. Todd rolling left. And hitting Harper, who then drops it. Harper at 5'8" had to go up to grab it, but he should have held it.
Don Struck, 16 of 21. 14 of 21. 245 yards on the day. Wow. As you said, in relief.
Woodley took an injury to the midsection. Rib cage area, the back, lower back, late in the first quarter. Strock came in, and one could not say that the Dolphins have suffered as a result. On 2nd and 10, this one is complete, and Wesley Walker skips out of bounds.
Well, Bob, I fully expect the New York Jets to come back and tie this game. with the weapons they have in Wesley Walker and Derek Gaffney and Bruce Harper, this game is a long way from over. 3:37.
Let's pause briefly for station identification on the NBC television network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
Well, if they're going to come back, they need 4 yards on this play. And let's jump ahead a bit. If they throw incomplete here, I guess you got to punt it away.
Sure, absolutely.
You got to punt it away. You got all your timeouts left, plus the 2-minute warning. So they're in a 1-down and not a 2-down situation here. Todd with plenty of time. There's the first down. Harper makes the catch, and he's across the 35.
And he was double covered, too, right on the inside. Kozlowski, the nickel or dime back on the outside. Man-on-man coverage. Just shows the talent of that little guy. Todd waits for him. Beaucamp on the blitz. Almost gets his hand in there. And he struggles for first down yardage over the 35. Big play. Now 3:10 to play.
When they have Betters, Baumhauer, and Beaucamp are in there across the front together, they call them the Killer Bees here in Miami. Betters, Baumhauer, and Beaucamp. Dolphins having some trouble getting set defensively. For a moment, they had too many men on the field. 2:55 remaining as Todd takes the snap and finds his receiver. Walker makes the catch along the sideline. The clock continues to move, but they're out near midfield at the Jet 49, and it's another first down.
No reason to take time out. Just don't panic. Don't panic. I have a feeling that the Miami Dolphins defensive backs are going to give a wide berth to one Wesley Walker. You can go 12 and 15 yards at a time almost any time you want.
A reminder that the Flintstones will be seen immediately following the conclusion of NBC football coverage over most of these stations, except those in the Mountain and Pacific time zones where it will be seen at its regular time. That's assuming we don't go to overtime here. Harper carries, and Harper busts into Dolphin territory. And we'll get the 2-minute warning before the next snap.
I think they should take a timeout.
Evidently, Walt Michaels doesn't agree.
Well, I think they should take a timeout. Then they run another play, and then the clock stops at the 2-minute warning. You may get one more play off in this drive.
The 2-minute warning during many NFL games this fall. We're going to be treated to some of the most exciting finales from NFL history. They're called fantastic finishes, and here's one of them. Take a timeout, you might as well take it as soon as the whistle blows. And evidently they had no intention of doing it at all.
They wasted 10 seconds there.
Todd firing wrong. I don't believe it.
Oh,
it happened again. Bobby Jones pulls it down. Bobby Jones has brought them within a point. And that is the third miracle touchdown reception for the Jets. 2 of them by Walker and 1 by Jones. Welcome to those of you who have been following the Cleveland Brown Los Angeles Ram game. This is Bob Costas along with Bob Trumpy, and seconds ago we got this play. Richard Todd, a miracle touchdown pass in the direction of Bobby Jones. He splits 2 defenders. He goes up to pull it down. We're a Pat Leahy extra point away from a tie at 28 with 1:09 remaining. We are staring overtime in the face. Ramsey holds, Leahy kicks. This game is tied. There's a flag down. Let's wait and see.
Richard Todd on the day, 21 of 28, 258 yards, and 3 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns, excuse me. 4 touchdowns.
He's thrown for 4 touchdowns. 3 of them have been miracles. The one to Jerome Barkham, the first one, was pretty legit. The other 3 were strictly throw up a prayer and have it answered.
In fact, your 3 touchdowns that the Jets have scored have all been in double coverage. One, the ball bounced off the receiver. The other one, I don't know how they caught it. And this one, this is Jones. Lamb Jones is their big receiver. Bobby Jones is not supposed to be able to do that. That's his second catch on the day, 71 yards and 6 points between Bessalou and Blackwood.
For those of you who are just joining us, what an aerial show you have missed. David Woodley went out early when he injured his lower back late in the first quarter. The Dolphins starter, Don Strock, has come in, and what a job he has done. His main target has been Matt Moore. Moore has caught 7 passes for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Dolphins. Rookie Andre Franklin has also run 2 one-yard runs for scores. For the Jets, Richard Todd has thrown 4 touchdown passes. He hit Barkham and Wesley Walker in the first half. He has hit Walker again and now Bobby Jones in the second half. Only moments ago, Moore made a great diving catch for the go-ahead touchdown for Miami. The Jets marched right back and concluded it with that catch by Bobby Jones, and the extra point by Leahy ties it at 28.
And to put this game in perspective, the last 6 times these two teams have played, the New York Jets have won. And the Miami Dolphins have a 29-13 composite record against the rest of the NFL.
The Jets are 1-3. The Dolphins are 4-0. The kick by Leahy sends Walker back deep into the end zone, and Fulton Walker kneels for the touchback. Again, that final score from Los Angeles. The Rams go 3-2 on the season and dump the Browns to 2-3. The final score is LA 27 and Cleveland 16.
2 great performances by quarterbacks today. One in relief, Don Strock, as Mr. Costas told you, Woodley out with a chest injury or a lower back injury. He's accounted for 266 yards worth of passing. Todd, 258.
In addition to the yardage and all the completions, if you haven't been with us, you have missed some of the greatest catches of the 1981 NFL season. Diving, leaping, tumbling, incredible. Duriel Harris has made a few, Walker has made a few, but mostly it's been Matt Moore.
Matt Moore averaged, what'd you say, 30 yards a catch on 7 receptions
That's
today?
right. A Dolphin record, 210 yards in receptions. They go with a draw, and they give it to Nick Giaquinto, and Giaquinto, the second-year man from Connecticut, gets 20 yards on the carry.
My goodness. You know what, Bob? I would hate to see this football game end on a field goal. I mean, the way the game has been played all day, it should be a long pass reception. Good movement by Giaquinto.
The Dolphins take a timeout with 59 seconds left.
Why have over 1 million people replace their brakes at Midas? Was it because they know Midas has brake mechanics that are specially trained? Was it because they know Midas has the right brake parts in stock? Or was it because they know Midas has over 20 years' experience under the car? Well, whatever the reason, it certainly was no accident. Get the Midas touch. Nobody else has it.
Brian Gumble in New York with a couple of highlights from the day's earlier action. New England Patriots finally got one up in the W column. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Foxborough. Final net ball game 33-17. This is the one the Pats scored and never headed after this. Score tied 7-7, 4th and 1. Matt Cavanaugh bootlegs it around the right side. 8 yards he goes for a touchdown. The Patriots finally get it up 33-17. The Chiefs come up a loser. They're 3-2. Let's go back to Bob Costas and Bob Trumpy. They're in the Orange Bowl. Dolphins and Jets all tied at 28.
Nice, Brian. Out to the right side, Duriel Harris. Out to the left is Matt Moore. Don Strock flips one over the middle to Tommy Vigorito. The rookie is trying to get to the sidelines, and he won't. He's brought down at the line of scrimmage. No gain at all. Jerry Holmes made a very important defensive play.
He lost yardage and did not get out of bounds, and I noticed the Jets are now in the 3-4 defense. Less pass rush, more gentlemen in coverage.
Clock still running. Down to 35 as Strock takes the snap. It's complete, and let's see if they call a timeout. They'll have 3rd and 2 coming up. Vigorito made the catch, and the clock is stopped with 31 seconds left, and now Miami can stop it only once more.
We set this game up, Bob, as confrontation with 2 defensive lines who in their previous weeks had sacked the quarterback a great deal, but it hasn't happened. The Jets have sacked Strock once, and the same is true for the Dolphins.
Okay, let's continue. Our 11 days earlier action, well, we get into the timeout. Buffalo wins today over the Colts. Colts now on 4 straight. The final 23-17. Charlie Day, Joe Chris, got 157 yards rushing. In St. Louis, the Cardinals up to the Cowboys. And Neil Donahue field goal with 43 seconds left from 37 yards out. This was a big play of the game. Jim Hart, the right wing, for light break, kept his foot out with the track wall. Out of Washington, Bill Walsh on the 49ers move. 3 and 2 on the straight game part of 2. Defensive touchdown started by White Hicks. One of them was a spectacular variety. Ball pass moves, takes it 80 yards the other way, and the 49ers start the winner on the Redskins, 30-17. That's enough for now. Let's go back to the Orange Bowl in Miami.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Thank you for the pass from Jim McElroy. One offensive back. He is triple threat. Take the turn, hands defensive back, and now wide receiver. But the football back to the second. It's away. Not dropping back on 4 down 82. Not going to go right. He throws on the run, and it's out of the air. It's a touchdown. Now what do you do? Fourth down with 22 seconds. If you don't get it, the Jets have 3 timeouts left, and the answer to that question is come very quickly. Hold on to it. He's sending Tom Wallace to punt, and he'll throw it down.
And hope for a good snap, too. If I'm Walt Michaels and the New York Jets, why not? Let's try to block it. Send 11 guys.
Ken Schroy is now walking back as a deep man, but the last thing they want to risk is handling this ball and fumbling it deep in their own territory to give Von Schaman a chip shot for a game winner.
Although they are setting up for a return as opposed to trying to block the punt.
They got to be careful, Trump. If it's a wobbler, if it's tough to handle, you let it go, I think.
Good snap.
Orris, the rookie from Ohio State. Schroy will just let it bounce. And will they rule it down? They will rule it down at the 1-yard line.
Makes no difference, though. What good does it do you? You're going to go 99 yards for a touchdown in 10 seconds? I would have tried for the to rush the punter. I mean, so what if they get a penalty? It gives you 15 yards, it gives you another play, but they got 10 seconds left. They needed at least 35 yards to kick a field goal. They're against the win in this situation. Well,
a 51-yard punt by Orris. Now, the last thing the Jets want to risk here, if they keep it on the ground, is to run wide or even go off tackle, where the handoff has to be made behind the goal line because the safety would be an incredible way to lose this game.
You are absolutely correct.
Bob Costas and Bob Trumpy at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Another great day of NFL football on NBC winds up apparently with overtime.
Here's a question for you. Will the Dolphins call timeout after this play, regardless of how much yardage is gained?
Miami has 1 remaining. Well, there's no safety. And Kevin Long gets out to the 10-yard line.
And they will not call timeout. We've got overtime. 2 weeks in a row.
Mr. Trumpy, for the 2nd week in a row. We were at 3 Rivers last week. New England with a miracle comeback time for Steelers. Pittsburgh prevailed in overtime. This time the Jets came back. And Miami goes to overtime with them. We're coming right back.
When we at Craco build a car stereo, we never know who's going to be in the driver's seat. So every Craco car stereo is tested to meet the toughest quality standards. And that means you can be sure that your Craco car stereo will perform, no matter what your listening habits are. Down the road, you'll be glad. It's a Craco.
They're off the field. I want to feel nice and dry. And I want to smell nice. That's why I use Speed Stick Super Dry Antiperspirant. It's the wide stick. Effective protection with more dryness to help fight wetness. And it goes on dry so you can get dressed right away. So get on the stick. The wide stick. Speed Stick Super Dry Antiperspirant. Wide. That is.
Well, middle right out of the middle of the field. The huddle gets Jordan to the referee. Will toss it up. Bob Kuchenberg, among the captains for Miami. Joe Flacco is the captain for the Jets. The Jets have the right to call it. And now suddenly fans are screaming out of the stands and all over the field. And a horde of policemen show up.
That's cute.
The Jets have won the toss. They have the right to call it as the visitors. They elect to receive. There'll be a short rest period, and then the Dolphins will kick it off, and we'll be back after this word from your local station.
Chip's season premiere. The stunt is suicide. The stunt man is John.
John, you can't, man. It's insane.
Then a world premiere portrays the first white to play football for an all-black college. Grambling's White Tiger. Right after the Chip season premiere, Sunday on NBC.
Flyers, Braniff strikes back against the high cost of flying by giving you a choice. First, new Braniff Express. It's all one class, with every seat a low discount fare, some days even lower. Then, for our full-service passengers, there's Braniff Premier. Full-service coach and expanded first class. This is Braniff at its best. Braniff strikes back with new Premier and low-cost Express. The choice is yours.
Germany, home of Volkswagen. What's a Mazda GLC doing here? Making a point about outstanding value in an economy car. Because while the sophisticated GLC offers the performance, economy, and versatility you expect in a front-wheel drive economy car, it offers it at a price you most certainly don't expect. The more you look at some of the finest economy cars in the world, the more you like the 1982 Mazda GLC.
The most famous German word in the English language is Beck's.
Beck's, the #1 imported German beer.
Dear Abby, tomorrow on Live at 5.
Well, the worst of it is evidently over, but the gendarmes have had to quell a disturbance in the stands, and we have seen, quite frankly, more and more of this around the country. As a matter of fact, in our pregame baseball program yesterday on NBC, before you saw 3 different division clinchings on NBC Sports, we focused on violence in the stands, specifically relating to baseball, but other sports are not exempt. And what should be, and has been by and large, a wonderful afternoon and early evening of sports watching for more than 70,000 at the Orange Bowl is marred by a senseless scene like this one.
Stupid fools don't even get to see the end of a great football game. That's how dumb they are. They ought to give people IQ tests for let them in a stadium. You want to hear something absolutely amazing for this game? Strock 17 of 26, 274 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Miami. Nat Moore, 7 catches, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns. Richard Todd for the Jets, 4 touchdowns, 21 of 28, 258 yards. Wesley Walker, 2 touchdowns, 7 catches, 106 yards.
Here we go in sudden death. Uwe von Schaman kicks it off, and did he ever get into it? Kurt Sohn in the back of the end zone says, I'll just stay right here, and the Jets will be 80 yards away. Here's the situation. We have an overtime period, 15 minutes. As soon as somebody scores, touchdown, field goal, safety, it's over. If nobody can score in 15 minutes, which has rarely happened since the NFL went to regular season overtime, but if that should happen, the game will go into the books as a tie. This is the source of some controversy, Trump. A lot of fans and people in the media think that each team should have at least 1 possession in overtime. They think that if the team that receives the overtime kickoff scores, the other club should at least get 1 possession to try and come back. But that's not the way it works. As soon as somebody scores, this game is over. Bruce Harper carries. Barely a yard. Because of the length of this football game, the Flintstones will not be seen tonight. Let me briefly summarize what you missed. Bam Bam hit Pebbles on the head with a club. Wilma and Betty were upset. However, Barney was placated by Fred, who took them to the Bedrock Bowl for some dino burgers.
I'm heartbroken. Absolutely heartbroken.
Minutes and 20 seconds remaining in overtime. 2nd down and 9 for the Jets. Todd has it batted down. Got it down by Bocamper. Hit Bocamper, number 58.
He went to the well once too often. He's done that several times today. And of course, the New York Jets right now are playing without Freeman McNeil, without Augustiniak. So they're playing with Harper, and they have Newton. And so they're missing a couple of great running backs. As I say, watch Todd. He goes to the well once too often. He's done this all day long. Bocamper at 6'5 and a half. Almost makes the sterling play of the afternoon. 3rd down now and 9 and a half.
The drama couldn't be much heavier at the Orange Bowl. Third down 9. Todd looking. Todd in trouble. Todd pumping and firing. They've got the first down as Derek Gaffney makes the catch across the 30.
12 yards on the catch. Great job by Gaffney and all the New York Jets receivers. He had several guys to choose from. Todd, presence of mind to get it once he's flushed out of the pocket to keep looking downfield. Look at the pressure. Baumhauer, 73, coming to the outside. Alexander does a great job along with Fields. And it takes some guts to throw the ball back in the middle like that in an overtime situation, Bob.
13:28 left in overtime.
Hugh Wesley Walker.
Two receivers on the right side, one on the left, one getting long. He's not going to be able to defend the corner. Larry Ford, right now. There must be a stronger win on the field than we can give up here in the booth because obviously the Jets only win we absolutely have to. That time they had Derek Gaffney and Wesley Walker both on the same side of the field. And I think they could cause an awful lot of problems for the Miami Dolphins defensive backs who have given up an awful lot of yards in the last two games to wide receivers. One other factor in overtime is we should mention each team is granted 2 timeouts. So they each can stop and watch twice. And that's 12 minutes and 4 seconds. Second and 10 for the 33. Body will take the full force. Nicholson man. Archer with the cover. Where is that cover? And the Dolphins will have anybody flying in this play. Well, they're coming with a 6 defensive backfield.
They'll go with 3 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, that's 5, and 6 defensive backs. Called a dime situation. Normally plays zone. The weakness is in the middle of that zone.
For those of you who joined us late today, after the Dallas Cowboys lost in St. Louis, the Cardinals upsetting them on a late field goal by Neil O'Donoghue, the NFL is down to just 2 undefeated teams. One is Philadelphia. The Eagles play the Falcons tomorrow night. The other is on this field, the Miami Dolphins, but they're in definite jeopardy of absorbing their first defeat at the hands of a team which has beaten them 6 straight times, the New York Jets. Todd on third down, they're coming after him. He sidesteps one, he fires, he's got his man, but he's short of the first down. Kevin Long made the catch, but he's shoved back at the 40, and the Jets are going to have to punt.
Well, the Miami Dolphin defense has not played very well all day long. The Jets have been going up and down the field making these miraculous catches. Finally. Another thing, Ramsey has averaged like 46 yards a punt so far this afternoon. He is punting against the wind in this situation. Must make a good, clean catch if you're a Miami Dolphin punt receiver back there.
What'd you say his average was? It's better than 50, I believe.
Is it really? I thought it was
better
46. Another good one.
Fulton Walker takes it in some traffic and goes virtually nowhere. No, he slips past the tackler. I don't believe this return. He was all but down and somehow stayed on his feet. 11:41 to go in overtime. Let's check with Brian Gumbel in New York.
Okay, Bob, we'll be getting right back to you. Here's some more highlights from days earlier action. The Packers beat the Giants today over New Jersey 27-14, and Johnny Jefferson in the process scored his first touchdown in a Green Bay uniform. And down in the Astrodome, the Oilers turned back the Bengals 17-10. Easily the most spectacular play of the day was turned in by the smallest man on the field, Carl Roaches. He took a Cincinnati kickoff at his own 5-yard line and took it back 95 yards for a touch. Let's go back to the Orange Bowl.
All right, thanks, Brian. A 40-yard punt by Ramsey. An incredible 17-yard return by Walker. Struck to the air on first down. A flag flies as he hits his man, Jimmy Cephalo.
That's going to be holding 68 Miami Dolphins.
Correction on the catch. It was Bruce Hardy, the tight end, number 84.
Eric Laxo on Gastineau. Good pressure. And Pleco is down, number 73 from the New York Jets.
Clock stops temporarily with 11:21 to play in sudden death overtime. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. We are tied at 28.
Both teams deserve to win this football game.
Well, in that case, an overtime tie would be justice, but I don't think it would satisfy the crowd here or our viewers. You want to see a decision of some kind in a game this exciting.
True. Unfortunately, we've been most of the day without the benefit of the official's microphone. We've had to kind of read lips. Hope you'll bear with us. Penalties now on the day. The Dolphins have 6 for 45 yards, and the Jets 5 for 30 yards.
While the clock is stopped, we'll be getting back to the Orange Bowl. Bryant Gumbel at NFL 81 Studios in New York. Here again, that return by Carl Roaches. It went for 95 yards. What really helped the Oilers was 181 yards rushing by Earl Campbell. Oilers turned back the Bengals 17-10. And another ball game affecting the AFC Central. The Pittsburgh Steelers locked horns with an old nemesis, Bum Phillips, now in charge of the Saints down under the Dome in New Orleans. Terry Bradshaw turned in 276 yards through the air. Steelers beat the Saints 20-6. Let's go back to Bob Costas.
Okay, Brian, an interesting note on the schedule. The next game for the Dolphins will be at Buffalo. That'll be a Monday night game. Now, if the Dolphins lose this game to the Jets here in overtime, they'll go into Buffalo just 1 game in front of the Bills, who won today against the Colts. However, they'd have a 2-game cushion if they can pull this one out. Next on the schedule for the Jets, at home against the New England Patriots, who broke into the win column finally today. They're 1-4. They beat Kansas City up in Foxborough. down and 20. And Struck out to Vigorito. Dodges one tackle. Along the sidelines and out of bounds. A 6-yard gain. Joe Klecko, number 73, who was shaken up a moment ago, is still in the lineup now for the Jets.
Bob, in these situations in overtime, it takes an extreme individual effort by somebody out there to win the football game. Normally, these things aren't won with long, drawn-out drives. It's a dramatic pass reception. It's a great block. It's a great catch. Something along those lines that normally turns the game around so quickly.
11-14 to play in overtime.
Looks like Nat Moore has single coverage at the bottom of the screen.
They'll try and cross him up with the run, but Vigorito gets maybe a yard and not much more than that as Guardian Lyons wrapped him as soon as he got the handoff.
Interesting. This defensive line of the New York Jets has played an excellent game today. They've only gotten to Don Strock once, but you see Lyons, it's a trap, a short trap, but Newman, 64, turns up to help on the linebacker. Nobody hits Lyons, and he's there to make the tackle. Now third down at about 12.
Third, and let's call it 14.
Okay, let's call it that.
10:40 remaining. We're in sudden death overtime at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Tied at 28, the Jets and the Dolphins. Big play for Don Strock. He has time. He pumps one long. It's up for grabs, and it's incomplete. Holmes had the coverage on Nat Moore, and that's about the only thing thrown anywhere near Moore today that he hasn't caught.
Well, once again, it falls on the shoulders of the Jets offense and the Miami defense. You'll see the play from ground level. It'll be coming right at you. Looks like single coverage on Nat Moore, and Moore in trying to get to the football does make a little bump on 47. Jerry Holmes, but no penalty flag.
Tom Morris now, the rookie, will punt. Troy and Sohn are the deep men, standing between the 25 and 30 of New York. Second possession of overtime up to the Jets. Kurt Sohn grabs it and takes it at the 25-yard line with a fair catch. Here's Bryant Gumbel again.
Okay, Bob, after getting shut out last week for the first time in 15 years, the Raiders made it 2 in a row today. They lost to the Broncos by a score of 17-0 and helped the Broncos out by turning the ball over 6 times. Meanwhile, in San Diego, the Chargers rebounded from a defeat last week and handed it to the Seattle Seahawks today. Dan Fouts threw 4 touchdown passes, turned back the Hawks 24-10. Let's go back to the Orange Bowl. Bob Costas.
Well, now the whole mood changes. First, when the Dolphins have the ball, the fans here are expectant and whooping it up. Now they're holding their breath. Todd back to the air. Swings it out to Kevin Long. Long to about the 27-yard line. A gain of only a couple. We move inside 10 minutes to play in the sudden death overtime. This is the third overtime game of the year in the National Football League. The first 2 were last week. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh involved in those. They give it to Harper, second man through on the eye. And this is going to leave them with third down and a long 4 or a short 5.
Both teams, obviously, Bob, in this situation, do not want to give the ball up on a turnover. No interceptions. They're being very, very conservative in their approach to offense. Very, very conservative. That's Joe Walton along with Walt Michaels standing right there trying to somehow come up with a third down and 5 play and sustain a drive here. Close enough for a field goal by Leahy.
Walton's a guy who really caught his share of the heat the first 3 weeks of the season. New offensive coordinator for the Jets, but they came alive against the Oilers last week. And no matter what happens, their offense has more than held up their part of the deal today against the Dolphins. Bruce Harper off left tackle for what is very close to the first down.
They will measure.
Close enough to look. Clock is stopped with 8:50 to play in overtime, and both clubs still possessing both of their timeouts. They get the first down by about half the length of the football. For those of you who are just joining us, because of the length of the double-time football game at the Orange Bowl between the Dolphins and Jets, the Flintstones will not be seen tonight on NBC. If the game should end in the next few minutes or so, we're going to hear Cooler in 5 minutes. The Jets get the first down at the Orange 26-yard line. Oh, Tom Newton. After a very good stop, the line of scrimmage, slips through, and gets the first down. Watching again.
Great second effort by Newton as he keeps the ground level. Ref was up to the yard trap rock, and it looks like 59 position got a stop, but individual effort by Tom Newton gets the first down.
By the way, those of you who are on the West Coast watching this game, as we do have the entire country joining us now, you'll see the Flintstones and here's Boomer at their usual time.
Oh, boy.
In motion, Derek Gaffney. Newton and Harper are the backs. Bruce Harper will carry, and Harper is into Dolphin territory at the 49-yard line. Another update. Here's Bryant.
Okay, Bob, here's one more highlight from an earlier game. The Browns bowed to the Rams in Anaheim. Rams beat them 27-16. Maybe the best offensive star for the Rams in the day, Wendell Tyler. He scored twice, once in the ground, once through the air. Bob?
Thank you, Bryant. Bob Costas and Bob Trumpy at the Orange Bowl. Second down and 6 is upcoming with the ball at the 49-yard line of the Dolphins for the Jets. Walt Michaels with his hands on his knees. They give the ball to Harper. Harper stutter steps his way out of trouble and has another Jet first down. They are moving ever closer to field goal range for Pat Leahy.
Bob, coming into this football game, Bruce Harper had carried the ball just 8 times in the first 4 games. Today, he's now carried it 11 times for 52 yards. This guy is only 5'8" and 177 pounds. His nickname is the Smidget. He's played like he's 6'8", 290 today.
There's Pat Leahy loosening his leg up, number 5, the veteran from St. Louis University. Leahy coming in today had made 5 out of 6 field goals, but he missed a 23-yarder earlier this afternoon. Bruce Harper is denied a gain of maybe a yard, not much more than that. We have 6 minutes and 10 seconds to play in sudden death.
Obviously, they do not want to throw the football, and Bruce Harper now very, very tired. Exceptionally tired, and they need a good, what would you say, 20 yards before Leahy's within his distance. He's got the wind against him.
Well, if they get 20 yards, then you're talking only about a 37-yard field goal. I think if they get 10 yards, it's possible. If they get 15 or more, it's likely.
You know, there may be some assistance for the New York Jets. They have a giant screen behind the goalpost to block the ball from going way back there. It may cut down some of the wind.
Second down and 9 from just inside the Dolphin 40. The play fake by Todd and a deep drop. Todd directing traffic, looking for somebody, throws all the way across the field. And the only receiver he had was Marty Lyons, number 93.
And it's incomplete. He's yelling at Bruce Harper. Bruce Harper, I think it was set up for a screen, and I don't think he got the message. There's see Kevin Long patting him on the top of the head. He didn't get the message that that was a screen. There were 3 offensive linemen sitting there on the New York Jets side of the hash marks.
While it is now a breezy night in Miami at 20 minutes to 8 o'clock, this started as a brutally warm and humid day. And now as we're in a 5th period of play, everybody on the field is dog-tired.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Here it is, 3rd down and 9 for Todd and the Jets. 5:26 to play in OT. Todd pumps once. Swings it out. The catch is made by Long. Kevin Long makes the catch. But it's nowhere near the first down. Let's watch it again.
I think you can see the weariness in some of the receivers. Just not an awful lot of life left in a lot of these players. And believe me, this heat and humidity really takes its toll.
The Jets have not played a tie game since 1967, back in the old AFL, and the last time the Dolphins played a tie game was against Denver in 1971. Got 4.5 minutes left inside. This is Ramsey. Aims for the pump and orders. It's out of bounds. Not sure where they'll put it. But you have to be. 15-yard line. Here's Ryan Double. Up to New York.
Okay, Bob, we'll get back to our order. First, let's update you from FC Central. The Vikings beat the Bears 24-21 in Bloomington. And Tampa Bay took the measure of Detroit. That was 4 up to final 28-10. But for those people who may be joining that ball game in the Orange Bowl late, this play typifies how it's been all day. Double tip. Line for touchdown for the Jets. Deadlock 28 for the back up.
One ball, Chuck Ramsey, and he's trying to put it out of bounds deep. And Dolphin territory carries it 22 yards and out of bounds in the air. And mark it at the 15. We have 4:29 left. They have 2 timeouts with it. John Scott.
Obviously, though, there are 16 football games in the season, and the final record is what gets you to the Super Bowl. Where they're going to lose 1 great game, so let's take the lead out of the situation. Well, in real estate, I 7 points back in New York, because he's not going to take it down New York. Second man we go. There we go. Clock looking. Oh, you can catch. Oh, Lincoln. And Lincoln. See an illegal run. Daryl Harris takes in the receiver. No go. By design by Josh Drug to avoid any possibility of interception. Third down and 9. This is why the coaches make the big money. They got to make the decisions here.
Daryl Harris almost turned in. Yet another great catch, and it's hard to keep track of how many of those we've seen today. 3:45 remaining. Third and 7. They got to go to the 25 to keep the ball. Stock in trouble. Ball was deflected as he let it go, and it drops harmlessly incomplete. And look at that. It looked like a Jet team meeting around the ball. About 6 green shirts and not a Dolphin anywhere in sight. Let's watch it from the end zone.
Good pressure by the New York Jets defensive line. With Kenny Neal now replacing Joe Klecko, they flush him enough, and he gets his hands up, Neal does, tips the ball exactly as the defensive lineman's going to do, and it's up for grabs, and they dodge a bullet.
Now with 3:39 left, the Jets will get the ball for the 3rd time in overtime.
In their best field position in this overtime period, too.
Sohn and Schroy are the deep men. They're standing near the Jet 40. Orris punts from deep in his own territory. A long, high spiral. Sohn goes back inside the 30-yard line. Trying to get outside. He won't get there. A 52-yard kick by Orris. The rookie comes through.
With the wind, very, very good time to nice tight spiral. We got a flag on the play. They may bring it back. If I were the New York Jets, after having played almost 4.5 quarters, I'd make Miami run down there again. I believe they're going to.
Nick Jorgensen is the referee, and since early in the game, we have had no audio contact with him.
Let's see if we can lip read a little bit here and determine exactly what the penalty was. Maybe an illegal formation. Not enough people on the line of scrimmage. That's rather common in punt situations. Let's see what he has to say. Illegal man downfield. Boy, that's a tough time for that to happen. This Miami Dolphin team, obviously very, very fatigued, now must run down there 40 yards again and cover the next punt. And that punt was 52 yards by Orris.
Let's see if Orris has anything like that left in his leg now. Now Sohn and Schroy move up near the 45 of the Jets. 3:26 showing on the overtime clock. We have played nearly 4 hours of football at the Orange Bowl. Thus far, to no decision. Orris from his own end zone. Another good kick. Not quite as booming as the other. Oh. Sohn bobbles it. Ball loose. And I think Sohn recovered his own bobble. Oh, what a sigh of relief for Kurt Sohn, and another 52-yard punt for Orris, so he duplicated the last effort.
Well, let's give him a game ball. He's kicked in pressure situations in his overtime. He just took his eyes off the ball. That's all it was. There are 3 New York Jets down there to make sure that They get the ball back. First and 10, the New York Jets, 35-yard line, Miami Dolphins.
Kurt Sohn, the young man from Fordham, had his heart in his throat briefly. He would have worn some royal goat horns had they not.
Recovered, 35-yard line. New York Jets is Junior. First and 65. There's the tail end overtime. He's plugged and shot the box like more. Todd fires. There's the completion. For his own mark of the tight end, who's been kind of a forgotten man since the first quarter. When he last time was a touchdown pass, he's on the receiving end of battle. Now 27 of 37 for 293 yards for Richard Todd. And that was a great job by Barker. 83 of the total zone coverage by Miami. You see 3 on blitz, and linebackers are dropping. And Barker finds the 10th spot in the zone. Now he has time to wait for him. And the first down. Clock running. 2:35 remaining. It's time to take this down. And get it to Bruce Harper. Harper jams up after a short game. And he's going to have 2 yards of the touchdown.
222, 221, 220. The Jets 28, the Dolphins 28.
Now Kim Bokamper back in the ball game for Miami, obviously expecting a pass situation by the New York Jets. They want more pressure on the quarterback.
We were tied at 21 with about 4 minutes left. Strock hit Matt Moore, who made one of a series of great catches that he's pulled in today in the end zone, put the Dolphins up 28-21. Richard Todd, who now wants to come to the sideline and talk it over as the Jets take.
No, it's the 2-minute warning. We have reached the 2-minute warning. Okay. Richard Todd, I started to say, came back and tied again late in regulation. A great catch by Bobby Jones. 2 minutes 28. Now we have 2 minutes left. Overtime, and we'll come right back.
All right. All right, that's lousy. I would like you to give me an aspirin if possible. Aspirin? For the last 10 or 15 years, I've used aspirin. That's interesting, Rick, because the number 1 selling brand of pain reliever doesn't contain. An aspirin. What is it, sir? It's Tylenol. I've never used Tylenol. Today we'd like you to try extra strength Tylenol. You know, you can't buy a more potent pain reliever without a prescription. I have to see what it does for me. Well, look at the difference in the amount of medicine in the leading pain relievers. Extra strength Tylenol has no pain relief. I have to try it. No pain, no pressure. It's super. It's great. You know, I'm really ready. I'm ready to take on my worst day and do the best job that I possibly can. I'm impressed. Try extra strength Tylenol. Capsules and tablets. Aspirin free. And you can't buy a more potent pain reliever without a prescription. Extra strength Tylenol is a super product.
We've got 2 minutes to decide this issue, and looking at members of both teams, I don't think any of us could go much further than that.
And we'll be very little celebrating after this football game because of who wins. They're all going to take a nice long nap. Coming up on 73 minutes of football so far today in a very hot and muggy and humid situation in Miami. Temperature at game time, 87 degrees at 4 o'clock.
2nd and 7 from the Jet 48. Todd's pass juggled, but received by Wesley Walker. Walker close to the first down. I believe when he first touched the ball, he had run a route which would give him the first down, but as he juggled it, he had to come back toward the line of scrimmage, and he's about a yard short.
I have a feeling the New York Jets are going to do this down the field. Look at the room, and that room has been there from the first snap of the day until now with 1:54 left in the football game. The cornerbacks are playing very, very soft. Jets at 6 of 15 in third down conversions, and I think that play has been there all day long, and I would expect them to continue trying that.
Well, because of the length of this game, we've lost the Flintstones, and now I understand there will be no Here's Boomer. For those watching in the Eastern and Central time zones, you will, however, see it on the West Coast. Kevin Long gets the first down. The Jets keep the drive alive.
You know, I offer you this suggestion. I wonder if it'd be worth it if you're a head coach now for either, especially the Miami Dolphins, to put a fresh man in there. I don't care who he is or how much experience he has, but just put a fresh man in there. Bob Howard knows has played 4 and almost 5 quarters just to give a little drive back in the legs of the guy.
Kevin Long gets the call again. And the clock moves down toward 1:15 with each team having 2 timeouts left. And now if you're this man, Don Shula, although you never want to think in these terms, you've got to start thinking in terms of just trying to salvage the tie, because the other guys have the ball, and now we're inside a minute, and they're in your territory.
The Dolphins are 4-0. The Jets are 1-3. Let's air it out. Let's try to win a football game here.
Inside 50 seconds by the time they snap it. Down 5 on the 37 of Miami. On the sideline. And about to hand the ball to the lead. And Taylor, the former Jet, they on the cover.
All that's expected is that round down to a halt here. Over there. Apparently both teams are more than satisfied with the tie.
As broadcasters, we come in here hoping to see a football game. And certainly we've seen that. But we also like to see the Super Bowl. It will be kind of disappointing if this one comes away at the top.
And unfortunately, a breaking defensive point is in the overtime period. And this overtime period has not anywhere close to the game of the right.
The first 50 minutes were fine. Third down 5. They got closer to Leahy out of shot, and they got closer now. Upper Watson, Michael gets the digital yard. And it's out of bounds with 38 seconds left. First down for New York.
This guy's been all over the field, replacing Freeman McNeely. He's done their special back, but he's carried the ball 12 times. That's how I believe his 7th or 8th reception on the day. They have used that guy up. He will deserve a day off when this game is over. Bruce Hudson.
Coming into today's game, Pat Leahy had a king of 3 between 40 and 49 yards. And missed the 52 yards. He missed the 6 yards, 33 yards. They'll make it time today. If they got no further, it would be about a 47-yard field goal right now. Tom Newton carrying. And he doesn't get much further.
Timeout. Timeout, New York Jets. Yes.
Yes, with 24 seconds left.
Bob, I'm telling you, the quick out to the wide receivers is open and has been open all day. And you run a back up underneath that to take advantage of the linebacker going out wide. They can get 15 or 20 yards and be in great field goal position.
Will Leahy pull it out for the Jets, or will we go home with a tie? We'll find out when we come back.
Hope you made a special dessert for our little girl's Sweet 16.
I didn't make dessert. No dessert. Instead, I made some fun.
Watch it glimmer, see it shimmer, cool and fruity. Jello, bright gelatin of all desserts. You'll love the one that tastes so light and makes such fun. Make Jello, gelatin, and make some fun.
Mom, you made turning 16 fun.
Welcome to Bird's Eye Village. Hi, I'm Sergeant Birdseye. Our town's full of great folks.
Mr. Birdseye.
Meet the youngest.
My first meal. I love vegetables.
Keep it up. Blue ribbon combination.
Interesting. Corn, string beans, and pasta girls.
So proud the dad tasted. And you've been practicing. Birdseye. Blue ribbon combination. What makes you be proud of? Come to Birdseye.
The longest field goal of Pat Leahy's 8-year NFL career is a 49-yarder. He also kicked a 47-yarder this season. Right now it would be about a 47-yard field goal since they're at the 30.
With a wind in your face. I come back to the point where I believe that quick out is open. Let's see if the Jets come back with a quick out. If they get 15 more yards, there's it.
Well, you just saw all the figures you could possibly want on Leahy's career. They keep it on the ground. Bruce Harper. Nothing. Nothing. 18 seconds.
You're going to let the clock run down. Call Leahy on the field with about 3 seconds to go. Make it a, what, 30, 37, 47-yard field goal. 6 seconds.
They're waiting to call their last time out, and they do with 3 seconds to go. Now, Leahy may hit this. He is certainly capable of doing it. But I'm with you, Trump. I got to figure that they should have thrown one little pass out to the sideline to get a bit closer. Well, we're going to let the suspense hang and break away for a commercial. We'll be right back.
Fresh. Clean. The fresh, clean flavor of Wrigley Spearmint Gum lasts a long, long, long time.
Bingham will snap it.
Don Shula is calling for a timeout. I don't know if he'll get it, but he's calling for a timeout. Comes down to this.
Pat Ryan will hold it. Di Bingham will snap it. Leahy from 47 yards. It's off target, and the game ends in a tie. The Dolphins are still unbeaten. They are 4-0-1. The Jets are 1-3-1. We saw 60 minutes of post-quickening football in regulation, and then a scoreless 15 minutes in overtime. It goes into the books tied at 28. So in a sense, the Jets' string over the Dolphins has been snapped. They had beaten them 6 straight times. Now in 7 meetings, it's 6 victories and a tie. Don Shula walks off, and we'll come back to the Orange Bowl in Miami to wrap this thing up in just a minute.
Dinner! Beef and gravy!
Here is Pat Leahy's bid to end it from 47 yards out. Ryan the holder, and it's clearly wide to the right.
But long enough. You got to admire these guys that come out of these situations, play maybe 5 or 6 plays in a ball game, and he knew immediately it wasn't going to hook. And a tie score, 28-28.
What a day and night of football at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Let's check now with New York. And here's Bryant Gumbel.
Okay, Bob Costas, thank you very much.
Kickoff.